In this lecture, we will be talking about optimizing your images for SEO. When you add images to your content, you want to add images that are relevant and make sense and actually add value to your reader. So you should ensure that your image is in line with the text context before or after the image. If not, it can get really confusing and it can be misinterpreted by search engines too. For example, here's a technical article about how to fix a white screen error. Now, these images that you see here are screenshots that explain the steps that are listed here. And as you can imagine, it would be completely unnatural to add a picture of a handbag right in the middle of this article. Obviously, that would make no sense at all. You also want to choose images that are unique as far as possible. Stock images for which you have a license or are freely available via Creative Commons Zero license on sites such as Unsplash or Pixabay. Or if you really want to get creative, you can even use Canva and modify or tweak these stock images to make them original and unique and your own. You can even use artificial intelligence to generate your own unique image. But always, what is more important than your image's uniqueness, of course, is its relevance to the rest of your context. Another aspect that you want to pay attention to is the format of your image file. Images in the JPEG format are commonly used for photos. PNG files are usually used for illustrations and logos because PNG files allow you to use transparent backgrounds. Google provides support for images in a variety of formats, but the WebP format is what they recommend. It's relatively new and not many are aware of it. But Google recommends it strongly for performance based on the results of a study that it conducted comparing images of different formats. You also need to be careful how you name your image file. The name of your image file is important because it can help search engines read and understand your image. So, for example, naming an image of a cat as img10129.jpg doesn't help at all. Instead, naming it as white-cat.jpg gives the search engine some idea about what the image is all about. Each image has an attribute that you can use to describe it called alt, which means alternative text. Alt tags are super important to your images for both SEO and accessibility because you want to make sure your images are accessible. Visually impaired users use screen reader tools that read the text content on your website out aloud. And that's how they are able to access your content. For visual content, meaning images, the file name and alt text is what is used usually to interpret images. And that is what is usually read aloud by such tools. So if your alt text does not describe the image properly, it would make no sense at all to the website visitor. Likewise, search engines too have no way to read your images. So they too use your alt text or description to understand the image. Plus, there are times when a user may have blocked images in the browser, or the browser is unable to load an image for some reason. And that's when it uses this alt text and displays that on the browser for it instead of the actual image. When you create your image description or alt text, avoid duplicate alt tags for images on the same post or page. It absolutely adds zero value to you, to search engines, or to your website visitor. And just like in the case of your text context, don't try to force fit a long list of keywords into your alt text. Search engines totally discourage such tactics. Next, you need to make sure your image file size is as low as possible, without, of course, compromising on the quality of the image. And while there's no particularly recommended file size as such for an image, most popular websites seem to use images of file sizes between 50 KB to 100 KB. That's 50 kilobytes to 100 kilobytes. Larger images will take longer to download and it can slow down your website. Impatient users will simply move to another website. Plus, search engines hate slow web pages that take a long time to load. Luckily, there are plenty of ways to compress your image files safely. Tinyfy or tinypng.com is one such free service that is available for you to compress your images. And yes, when it comes to videos, avoid animated GIFs because animated GIFs can lead to large bloated files. Instead, use videos like MPEG, MP4, because that could help reduce the file size significantly. Using a WebM video is even better. This is Google recommended really. And you could go through this article that Google's developers have created over here, which explains why it recommends MPEG videos or better still WebM videos instead of animated GIFs. And if you're interested, here's an article that I have written about 10 actionable image optimization hacks that you can go through. The link is right here. With that, we come to the end of image optimization. And in the next lecture, we'll learn how to write useful and meaningful meta descriptions and meta titles. See you there in a bit.